Welcome back to Ronin Recap. Now on to the next chapter.
After 2 consecutive goals, Song Yi, the tall and strong man, and the tan man all looked anxious. So, when the new game started, the 3 of them went straight to the basket. They had to get a goal in the shortest time possible. However, sometimes, things always went against one's wishes. Boom! The basketball spun around the basket and rolled into it in the end. The big, tan guy's expression changed slightly. He hurriedly jumped up, trying to grab the rebound. However, his speed was already half a beat slower. Number 3 grabbed the basketball and threw it to Lin Fan. Lin Fan's strength had won him recognition. Number 3 wanted Lin Fan to lead the team and score another goal. However, number 3 seemed to be too excited and accidentally used too much force, causing the ball to deviate from its course. Even Lin Fan could not catch the basketball immediately. He could only let it fly out of the court. At that moment, girls in blue and red dresses walked over. They saw that the basketball was about to hit them, but it was too late to dodge. The 2 girls' pretty faces were slightly pale, and a thin layer of sweat seeped out. At this moment, a tall figure suddenly appeared in front of them and caught the basketball firmly. It was Lin Fan. Lin Fan turned his head and said, "Are you guys okay?" Bright and spirited eyes, a high nose bridge, and thin lips. At this moment, the 2 girls seemed to see a peerless hero descending from the sky, and it was like he had rainbow clouds under his feet. They were completely dazed. Ding! Charm aura, love at first sight triggered. Ding! Charm aura, love at first sight triggered. When Lin Fan heard the notification in his mind, he was stunned. He could not help but carefully size up the 2 girls in front of him. Only then did he realize that apart from the color of their clothes, they looked almost exactly the same. They had the same porcelain doll-like face, the same snow-white skin, and the same perfectly developed body. They were actually twins. Lin Fan could not help but use his eyes of truth to observe the 2 of them. The girl in the blue dress. Face value, 95. Favorability, 99. The girl in the red dress. Face value, 95. Favorability, 99. Both of them had a score of 95 points for their looks, and their favorability had reached 99 points. One had to know that the full score for appearance and favorability was only 100 points. They were definitely great beauties. Moreover, they were twin beauties who loved him to death. They had fallen for him just because he helped them block the basketball? The beautiful twin girls saw that Lin Fan kept staring at them, and their faces turned red like ripe tomatoes. "Lin Fan, are you alright?" Song Yi asked. "I'm fine," Lin Fan said. "That's good. Have some water first." As Song Yi spoke, he threw the energy drink over. Lin Fan was indeed feeling a little thirsty. He unscrewed the bottle and gulped down half a bottle. Then, he threw the ball to Song Yi. The street basketball match began again. It was different from the previous game. At this moment, a pair of beautiful twins appeared on the empty basketball court. They stared at Lin Fan as he dribbled the ball, defended, and passed the ball. After Lin Fan scored, their 2 hearts started to beat wildly. Just as Lin Fan finished his last sip of the energy drink, the beautiful twins appeared in front of him, each holding a bottle of energy drink. "Are they for me?" Lin Fan asked. The beautiful twin girls nodded at the same time. Lin Fan did not stand on ceremony. He took the energy drinks, opened one of the bottles, and took a sip. A smile immediately appeared on the porcelain doll-like face of the beautiful woman in the blue dress, and a small canine tooth was vaguely visible in her cherry-like mouth. The beautiful woman in the red dress had a pair of gem-like eyes that were filled with anticipation. Lin Fan hesitated for a moment, then opened the second bottle of energy drink and took a sip. Instantly, the beauty in the red dress also revealed a sweet smile. The debut release occurred at NOV3L=BJN. In the distance, Song Yi looked at his empty bottle of energy drink and then at the 2 bottles in Lin Fan's hands. He could not help but gulp. The match continued. Lin Fan had professional basketball skills, an extraordinary physique, and absolute focus. He also had an endless supply of energy drinks. With so many advantages, how could he lose? The street basketball game lasted for more than 2 hours. In the end, Song Yi's team lost. Song Yi lay on the ground like a dead dog and said, "Lin Fan, are you sure you haven't played basketball in a long time?" "Yup," Lin Fan replied casually. When Song Yi heard this, a drop of hot sweat fell into his eyes. Instantly, turbid tears rolled down from the corner of his eyes. Lin Fan did not care much. He walked to the beautiful twins and said, "Thank you for the energy drinks." The beautiful twin girls shook their heads together, indicating that he was welcome. Then, they took out their phones at the same time and looked at Lin Fan with anticipation. "Do you want to add me on WeChat?" Lin Fan asked. The beautiful twins nodded in unison. "Alright," Lin Fan replied. As he spoke, he opened the WeChat friend request interface. Seeing this, the beautiful twins' gem-like eyes faintly bloomed with stars, and they hurriedly added him as a friend. Then, the two of them held their phone tightly in their arms as if they were holding a precious treasure and were afraid of losing it. "I'm going back to my dormitory. You guys should go back early too. It's pretty hot outside," Lin Fan said. The beautiful twin girls nodded their heads repeatedly. In the dormitory. After they returned, Zheng Jinbao looked at Lin Fan and Song Yi, who were covered in sweat. He smiled and asked, "Lin Fan, you haven't played basketball for a long time. How was it? You were abused badly this time, weren't you?" "Don't say those words again," Song Yi shouted. When he heard these words, he felt his heart being stabbed. You don't know this, but as long as Lin Fan gets the ball, he'll be able to shoot it accurately. We played for more than 2 hours and my team only got 2 goals. Our team only scored 2 goals. Song Yi's movements were too big as he spoke. A drop of sweat on his forehead rolled into his eyes. Instantly, hot tears rolled down his face. Zheng Jinbao laughed and said, "Didn't you just play basketball? Why are you crying now?" "I'm not crying, cry," Song Yi retorted. However, the tears in his eyes fell again. Zheng Jinbao looked at his comical appearance and laughed even louder. Song Yi felt wronged and said, "Why do I play basketball? It's just to attract girls. I play basketball in school almost every day, but none of the girls have ever asked me for my WeChat." At the end, when Lin Fan played basketball in school for the first time, a pair of twins actually took the initiative to buy drinks for him and ask for his WeChat. As soon as he said this, Zheng Jinbao's smile stopped as he hurriedly asked, "What? Twins? Are they pretty?" Fat otakus had no way to resist twins. Song Yi said, "Perfect figures and baby faces. You tell me if they're pretty." Heavens! Zheng Jinbao shouted to the sky, and the fat on his whole body trembled. He clutched his chest as if he had been stabbed. Lin Fan looked at the two of them and wanted to laugh. Step, step. At this moment, Ma Zhong slowly walked in with a few books in his arms. After he put down the book, he casually flipped through his phone. "There's actually a Lamborghini Aventador at our school," he exclaimed in surprise. "Lamborghini Aventador?" When Song Yi heard this, he immediately perked up and said excitedly, "Is it really a Lamborghini Aventador? Are you sure?" Song Yi loved cars, especially supercars. Lamborghini was also a top-tier noble among the supercars. It was no wonder he was so excited. Ma Zhong said, "Someone posted a photo on Tieba. Hurry up and show me." Song Yi said impatiently. Zheng Jinbao also leaned his head over. "It's really a Lamborghini Aventador. Oh my god!" Song Yi shouted in excitement. "I wonder which godly tycoon it is. If I had this car, I might be able to get the twins' attention, right?" Zheng Jinbao said. "Hey, there are photos of the tycoon below. Quick, let's see if he's as handsome as me. In the next moment, Song Yi, Zheng Jinbao, and Mai Zhong's expressions all froze. That was because the photo of the godly tycoon was Lin Fan. Song Yi said, Lin Fan, the owner of the Lamborghini Aventador. It's mine, Lin Fan said with a smile. Heavens! Are you thinking of killing me from the shock? Not only did you win the basketball match, but the twins also bought you drinks and asked for your WeChat. Now, you even have the Lamborghini car that all men dream of. Lin Fan, if you don't let me call you Brother Fan, I'll kneel down in front of you right now. Song Yi shouted. Zheng Jinbao shouted, beauties and a sports car. My fragile heart has already been severely injured. Brother Fan, now, only a big meal can soothe my injured heart. I told you guys yesterday that I would treat you guys to a big meal, but you insisted on going for a barbecue, Lin Fan said with a smile. Zheng Jinbao laughed awkwardly. Well, the barbecue was just to fill our stomachs, he said. Yesterday, Lin Fan had indeed said that he wanted to treat the three of them to a good meal. However, Zheng Jinbao was worried that Lin Fan would spend too much. That was why they insisted on eating at the barbecue stall. Lin Fan laughed. I happen to want to buy a car. Why don't we do this? Let's go buy a car first. Then, we'll have a big meal together. Song Yi asked, don't you have a Lamborghini? Why do you still want to buy a car? That car. Lin Fan said, I need to buy a bigger car. The debut release occurred at NOV3L equals B, J, N. What car do you want to buy? Song Yi asked again. Mercedes-Benz G-Class, Lin Fan said. I'm going to kneel in front of Brother Fan. Song Yi, Zheng Jinbao, and Mai Zhong said in unison. There were only 2 seats in the Lamborghini, but there were 4 people in the dormitory. Therefore, Lin Fan chose to take a taxi to the Mercedes-Benz shop. This made Song Yi feel like a child who was walking past a toy store but was forcefully pulled away by an adult. His face was full of reluctance. He had wanted to use this opportunity to experience the awesome Lamborghini. It was only when Lin Fan said that he could let him drive his Lamborghini in the future that Song Yi immediately smiled. When Lin Fan and the rest walked into the well-decorated and luxurious Mercedes-Benz 4S shop, a salesperson immediately came up to them. As a top brand, the price of Mercedes-Benz was extremely high for ordinary people. However, the salesperson did not treat Lin Fan and the others with any disrespect just because they looked like students. Welcome to Mercedes-Benz, he said with a smile. Is there anything I can help you with? After Song Yi, Zheng Jinbao, and Mai Zhong entered the 4S store, they looked around. Song Yi, in particular, ran directly to the front of a cool and grand Mercedes-Benz car and gently stroked it. This is the latest Mercedes-Benz E350, the salesperson introduced. It has 299 horsepower, and its appearance is steady, but it doesn't lose out on its strength. It's very suitable for young people like you. Of course, if you don't have too many requirements for the horsepower, I recommend you to consider the E260. It looks exactly the same as the E350. The E260 has 184 horsepower. Be it the acceleration or comfort, this model is also very good. The price-performance ratio is far higher than the E350. Most salespeople would love to let their customers buy expensive products. However, this salesperson took the initiative to analyze things clearly for the customer as if they were friends who had known each other for a long time. Song Yi touched the back of his head in embarrassment and said, I'm sorry, I've wasted your time. I'm just looking around. He's the one who's here to buy a car. As he spoke, he pointed at Lin Fan. The salesperson was not annoyed at all and said, it's not a waste of time. Now that you know about our Mercedes-Benz cars, you might just come and buy one in the future. Then, he smiled at Lin Fan and asked, "FO, you have a car that you like? I can introduce it to you." G-Class, Lin Fan replied. "We happen to have a new car." "This way, please," the salesperson said. Soon, they arrived at the other side of the 4S store. At that moment, a black G-Class, which looked like a beast, was parked in the middle. Whoa! It's so awesome! This is the car that a true man should drive. Song Yi, Jing Jinbao, and Mai Zhong were all amazed. They had seen photos of G-Class vehicles in magazines and computers, and they also thought that they were very cool. However, after seeing one for themselves, they were still stunned. The salesperson said, "This is a Mercedes-Benz G500 V8 4.0. It has a maximum power of 421 horsepower and a maximum torque of 610. With the addition of a mature 9-8 transmission, who can imagine that such a big guy can complete an acceleration of 100 kilometers in 5.9 seconds? The salesperson sighed. Lin Fan said, "Is it spacious?" "It's very spacious. Not to mention in the same class, even in an SUV that's one class higher, there are few that can be a match for it." "Alright, I'll get this, then." Lin Fan nodded. After saying that, Lin Fan took out his bank card. Seeing this, the salesperson was startled. The salesperson could not help but be stunned. What was going on? "I don't think I've introduced myself yet, right?" And he didn't mention the price, did he? He's going to buy it just like that? Don't you want to discuss the price? Aren't we going to discuss the free items? After a long time, the salesperson finally reacted and said, "I forgot to tell you that this is the G500 Dark Knight Special Edition. On top of the basic G500 model, there's a sports suit, many beam lights, and an adaptive near-far beam. It's 230,000 yuan more expensive than the normal G500. If you're willing to wait for a few days, we'll get a normal version very soon." Lin Fan waved his hand. "No need. I'll take this one." Alright. The salesperson replied. This car, including insurance, purchase tax, and other expenses, comes to a total of 2.18 million. Would you like to pay in installments or in full? The full amount. Lin Fan said, "When can I take the car away?" The sales assistant said, "Tomorrow morning, you can come with us to the vehicle administration office to get a license plate." Lin Fan thought for a moment. "How about this? I'll give you 2.2 million. You help me get the plate and then send the car to my school. How about it?" It was already very troublesome to buy a car. Lin Fan did not want to run around again. The salesperson was slightly taken aback, and then he excitedly said, "Alright, leave it to me." One had to know that this car only cost 2.18 million. Now, the other party was offering to give him 2.2 million. In other words, he could get a tip of 200,000 yuan just by running an errand. Happiness came too suddenly. Beep. The bank card swiped gently on the POS machine, making a pleasant sound. When this sound rang out, Song Yi, Jing Jinbao, and Mai Zhong all came back to their senses. A car! He bought a Mercedes-Benz G-Class worth more than 2 million yuan just like that? Had it been 3 minutes from entering the shop to paying? Even if one were to buy clothes that cost 100 yuan, it would not be that fast, right? The three of them looked at Lin Fan with a look of admiration. God, Lin Fan! Song Yi let out a deep sigh, his face full of hesitation. Song Yi, what's wrong? Lin Fan asked. I just wanted to say that I could have run that errand too, Song Yi said. He was not spouting nonsense. He had always liked cars. He used to work in a 4S shop during the summer break. Getting a car plate number was not difficult for him at all. Lin Fan smiled. How can I let you do such a small thing? You have the potential to do great things in the future. Small thing? If he could get 200,000 yuan just by applying for a license plate once, then. Song Yi expressed that he wanted to do such small things for the rest of his life. After that, Lin Fan got into his car as the salesperson respectfully sent him off. Soon, they arrived at Panglai Seafood Restaurant. Panglai Seafood Restaurant was a famous seafood restaurant in Jiangbei. The entire restaurant was shaped like a huge octopus. The air in the shop was filled with the salty fragrance of the sea. Mahjong pointed at the crab not far away and said, "What a huge crab! It's obviously waiting for us to eat it." Zheng Jinbao swallowed his saliva. "Alright, then I'll have 4 crabs, 4 Australian lobsters, 4 pounds of mantis shrimp, and 4 pounds of giant oysters. As for the cooking method, you can do it however you like as long as the food tastes good," Lin Fan said. The origin of this chapter's debut can be traced to N0VELBJN. Even though Lin Fan had only spent 2 days with his roommates, it was fate that they met. Furthermore, Lin Fan could feel that they were decent people. Therefore, he was willing to treat them to some good food. Of course, this was nothing much to Lin Fan. The waiter at the side noted down the orders one by one. Then, Lin Fan and the others were arranged to sit in a spacious private room. The chefs at Panglai Seafood Restaurant did things very efficiently. In just 10 minutes, a seafood feast with good color, smell, and taste was served. Zheng Jinbao, Song Yi, and Mahjong looked at the delicious food and could not help but swallow their saliva. "Let's eat," Lin Fan said with a smile. "We won't be polite, then." The 3 of them chuckled. As he spoke, Zheng Jinbao directly stuffed a giant oyster into his mouth and praised it, "Delicious." Song Yi picked up a palm-sized mantis shrimp and turned on his phone. "Friends from WeChat, hello. I'm going to do an eating show for everyone now. I'll eat this mantis shrimp in 1 bite. Please remember to like my post." After saying that, he quickly removed the shell of the palm-sized mantis shrimp and stuffed it into his mouth. Mahjong picked up the plate filled with crabs and gnawed on them. Jiangbei University, Dorm 502 of the female dormitory. The beautiful twins were lying on the bed, holding their phones. They looked at each other and then opened their phones to send messages. Red, "Mom, you there?" Blue, "Mom, you there?" Beautiful Yen, "How many times have I told you? You have to call me sister." Red and blue, "We have a boy we like." Beautiful Yen, "There's a boy you like? Did he kiss you? Did he sleep with you? Don't tell me you already have a baby?" Red and blue, "If you keep talking like this, we won't tell you anything else." Beautiful Yen, alright. Tell me quickly. Who is it that has attracted my 2 younger sisters?" There was no need for the beautiful twins to explain. Their mother already knew that the 2 of them definitely liked the same person. That was because they had the same hobbies since they were young. Red and blue, "We don't know who he is either." Beautiful Yen, "Then how did you guys fall for him?" Red, "He's tall, handsome, and a hero." Blue, "Also, he can play basketball. He saved us." Beautiful Yen, "Basketball? Very tall? Very handsome? He does sound attractive. By the way, did he confess to you guys?" Red, "I still don't know if he likes me or not." Blue, "But we added him on WeChat." Beautiful Yen, "Then there's definitely no problem. Alright, give me his WeChat username." However, after a long time, no one replied. Beautiful Yen, hey, where are you guys? What about his WeChat username?" The twin beauties did not even care about her. They were staring at Lin Fan's chat box. After a long time, they opened the dialog box and quickly typed a message. Red, "Hey, are you asleep? Thank you for stopping the basketball and saving me." Blue, "Hi, are you asleep? Thank you for stopping the basketball and saving me." The 2 of them wrote a long paragraph of words, but when their slender fingers were getting closer and closer to the send button, they could not press it no matter what. It was as if there was an invisible wall between their fingers and the screen. The female dormitory, Dorm 606. Sitting by the window, a beautiful girl in a white dress was reading an economics book seriously. After a long time, she put down her book, picked up her phone, and casually scrolled through it. At that moment, someone posted a photo of the Lamborghini and Prince Charming Lin Fan in the school's group chat. Seeing this, she was startled. The expressionless face of the beautiful woman in the white dress changed slightly, and she said softly, "Alf 666 is Lin Fan? I didn't expect to meet you so soon." After saying that, the beautiful woman in the white dress smiled and looked at the starry sky through the window with her black eyes. Lin Fan had no way of knowing any of this. After spending more than 20,000 yuan at Panglai Seafood Restaurant, he returned to his dormitory. Song Yi, Jing Jinbao, and Mai Zhong were all lying on the bed with their round bellies, groaning and moaning. They did not want to move at all. They had eaten too much. Lin Fan looked at their pained and happy expressions and did not know whether to laugh or cry. Then, he took out his phone and looked at the bright red packet on the screen. He muttered in his heart, 222 red packets. Let's see what I can get. Ding. Congratulations, you've received 3 yuan. Ding. Congratulations, you've received 10,000 yuan. Ding. Congratulations, you've obtained a medical water illustration card. Ding. Congratulations, you've received 30,000 yuan. Ding. Congratulations, you've received the skill pianist level performance. Out of the 222 red packets, Lin Fan received a total of 550,000 yuan. Lin Fan was not too bothered by this. His gaze fell directly on the medical water illustration card and pianist level performance. Pianist level performance, playing beautiful music can increase charm. Medical water illustration card, collect 100-year-old ginseng and 100-year-old spiritual branch, that obtain the right to purchase medical water. Note, medical water is a godly potion that can heal all wounds on the human body. The moment Lin Fan saw this, his eyes lit up. The feeling of having his hands dance freely on the black and white keys would definitely be not bad. The medical water illustration card could even allow him to purchase medical water that could heal all wounds on the human body. Lin Tao's surgery was very successful. However, his body was still severely injured. If he had medical water, he would be able to completely treat Lin Tao's body. Obtain. He had to get it. Name, Lin Fan. Level, LV4. Level 4 reward, 10 yuan for every breath, 10 yuan for every second of sleep, 10 yuan for every step taken. Rewards are distributed at 12 a.m. daily. Upgrade cost, 2.97 million/10 million, not including gifts and gambling. In addition, all items obtained from the system are prohibited from being traded. Skills, professional driving skills, charming aura, 5% chance to trigger love at first sight and unforgettable love, violent aesthetics, drinking gentleman, absolute focus, 5% chance to trigger a flash of inspiration, professor-level mathematics experience, eyes of truth, professional basketball technique, pianist-level performance. Funds, 11.5 million. Lin Fan looked at the systems list, then closed his eyes and fell into a deep sleep. The next day, a warm ray of the morning sun shone through the window and into dorm 104. Ring, ring, ring. Almost at the same time, 3 different bells rang in the dormitory. Mai Zhong, Song Yi, and Zhang Jinbao, who were originally sleeping soundly, sat up from the bed together and quickly put on their clothes. "What's wrong with you guys?" Lin Fan asked. Yesterday, they took a long time before they got up unwillingly. Today, they were like completely different people. It's Teacher Tiantian's class. It's Teacher Tiantian's class. Zheng Jinbao shouted. Lin Fan was still puzzled, but he still washed up and got dressed. On the way to the classroom, Lin Fan saw the 3 of them walking anxiously and asked, "Is Teacher Tiantian's class very important?" "It's important. It's too important. I feel uncomfortable if I go without seeing Teacher Tiantian for a day," Zheng Jinbao said. "Brother Fan, let's go," Song Yi said. Otherwise, there won't be any seats left later. No seats? The university classrooms were very spacious. Lin Fan had been going to classes for the past 2 days, and there were many empty seats in the classroom each time. Would there be no seats today? Lin Fan was filled with questions as he finally arrived at the classroom. It was only now that he understood why Song Yi and the others had said that. There were still more than 10 minutes before class started. However, the classroom was already filled with people. Zheng Jinbao pointed to the last row and said excitedly, "There are still 4 seats left. Let's go. Let's hurry over. Don't let anyone else take them." When Lin Fan and the others sat down, all the seats were filled. Those who entered the classroom now could only sigh helplessly and leave after seeing the seating arrangement. "Why are there so many people in this teacher's class?" Lin Fan asked. "You'll know later," Song Yi said excitedly. Ring. At this moment, the school bell rang. In an instant, the originally chaotic classroom became as quiet as a pin drop. Step, step, step. A series of crisp footsteps approached from afar. Soon, a beautiful woman walked to the podium. She had long hair that fell like a waterfall, and on her delicate face, she had willow leaf eyebrows, slender eyes, a small nose, and a cherry-like mouth. She was wearing a white dress that outlined her perfect body. In addition, she exuded a special charm that made people unable to move their heads away from her. Lin Fan could not help but use his eyes of truth to observe her. Appearance, 98. Favorability, 60. A face value of 98. It was close to full marks. Perhaps all the classic poems were about her. It was no wonder that his classmates were in such a hurry to attend her class. A favorability score of 60? He had reached the passing line of 60 points. She seemed to have a good impression of him. Could it be that she was a teacher who treated every student as a friend? At this moment, Hu Tian, who was standing on the podium, said, "Today, we'll continue the lesson on advanced algebra." Her voice was as sweet and magnetic as her name, making people not want to miss a single word. After a while, Hu Tian wrote a question on the blackboard. Find all the prime numbers p, q, r, and make p caret q plus p caret r a completely square number. Everyone can try to answer it, Hu Tian said. All the students immediately picked up their pens and began to write on the draft paper. They wanted to use the shortest amount of time to solve the problem and gain Hu Tian's attention. However, very quickly, all the students started to scratch their ears and cheeks. They did not know how to answer. "Ma Zhong, you still haven't answered it?" Zheng Jinbao anxiously asked. "It's already been so long." "Don't be anxious," Ma Zhong said. "Don't let anyone beat you to it. If you can't answer it, then I hope that no one else can." Song Yi silently prayed. Hu Tian's eyes were as bright as water as she scanned the classroom as if she was looking for someone who could answer the questions. Unfortunately, no one raised their hands to answer the question. "Lin Fan, can you come over and answer the question?" Hu Tian asked. Lin Fan stood up slowly. Instantly, all the students' gazes fell on Lin Fan. Their gazes were full of envy and jealousy. Lin Fan did not understand why Hu Tian would suddenly call him out. "I didn't raise my hand, did I?" Lin Fan first looked at the question on the blackboard and thought for a moment. Then, he walked to the podium and picked up the chalk to write quickly. If Q equals R, then P caret Q plus P caret R equals 2P caret Q. Therefore, P equals 2, and Q is a prime number. Therefore, 2Q is the group of 3 prime numbers that meets the conditions. In summary, 225252, 323332, 2Q equals 3. Soon, a large number of equations were written on the blackboard, and the answer was finally obtained. Yes, Hu Tian nodded and said. The answer is correct. Moreover, it's even simpler than the calculation method I thought of. But, this is still not the easiest way to solve the problem. Problem, Lin Fan said. Oh? Hu Tian's interest was piqued. Then, under Hu Tian's expectant gaze, Lin Fan wrote down the steps to solve the problem, which was almost simplified by half. When Hu Tian saw this, her beautiful eyes brightened as she exclaimed in admiration, "I didn't expect prime numbers to be calculated like this." After a moment of silence, Hu Tian said, "If we use this method, perhaps." Hu Tian could not help but quickly write on the blackboard. Q equals P1M1 plus B1 equals P2M2 plus B2, PKMK plus BK. Q equals 41 equals 2M plus 1 equals 3M plus 2 equals 5M plus 1. Not long after, Hu Tian stopped writing. Then, she looked at Lin Fan with a gaze that was seeking help. Twin prime number conjecture? Lin Fan asked. Ever since he received professor-level mathematics experience, he had a lot of mathematics-related information in his brain. Of course, he knew about the world-class problem, the twin prime number conjecture. Yes. Hu Tian nodded. Lin Fan picked up a piece of chalk and quickly wrote down something below Hu Tian's formulas. However, even with Lin Fan's professor-level mathematics experience and absolute focus, if he couldn't trigger the 5% flash of inspiration, he wouldn't be able to solve the twin prime conjecture. After a while, Lin Fan also stopped. What do you think of the above calculations if we change it to P⁻Q plus QB equals 3M plus 2? Lin Fan thought for a moment and shook his head. No, let's change it to 5P5M plus P⁻Q. The two of them discussed as they wrote down the steps to solve the problem. Very soon, the entire blackboard was filled with densely packed calculations. Lin Fan looked at the blackboard, which had no more space to write on. He put down the chalk in his hand and said, "The twin prime number conjecture is a huge project that needs to be carefully studied and explored. Let's end it here for today." Hu Tian nodded in agreement and said, "Can we exchange contact information? It'll make it easier for us to discuss at any time." "Of course, we can," Lin Fan replied. Then, the two of them took out their phones and added each other's WeChat and mobile numbers. Ring. It was at this time that the bell that marked the end of class rang. Hu Tian slowly left the classroom. All the students' eyes were fixed on the podium and on Lin Fan. Their eyes were red. One lesson. An entire lesson. Hu Tian and Lin Fan stood together and discussed the problem for an entire lesson. In the end, they even added each other's WeChat and mobile numbers. Hu Tian's WeChat and mobile number. Envy. Jealousy. If looks could kill, Lin Fan's heart would have been pierced by 1,000 arrows and he would have been cut into pieces. Lin Fan touched his nose and returned to his seat. Teacher Tian Tian. Teacher Tian Tian actually took the initiative to add Brother Fan as a friend on WeChat. Oh my god! Song Yi shouted to the sky. I know I won't have the chance to add Teacher Tian Tian on WeChat, but Brother Fan, please let me see Teacher Tian Tian's moments. I hope that my wish in this life will be fulfilled. After Zhang Jinbao finished speaking, he immediately hugged Lin Fan's thigh. Lin Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry when he saw how the two of them were acting. Brother Fan, can you teach me how to calculate this? After Mai Zhong said this, he could not help but blush. Yesterday, he had told him that if he had any questions, he could ask him at any time. In the end, he had to ask Lin Fan instead. In this regard, he was stunned. Lin Fan was not too bothered. He easily answered Mai Zhong's question and then sent Zheng Jinbao and Song Yi away. At this point, his ears finally regained their peace. At this moment, a faint fragrance drifted over. Then, a beautiful figure appeared beside him. Her facial features were sweet, her skin was smooth, and her black hair fell naturally on her slender shoulders. She was as gentle as water, quiet, and elegant. Lin Fan, we meet again. My name is Song Jiasen. As Song Jiasen spoke, she took the initiative to stretch out her slender hand. We meet again? Lin Fan secretly used his eyes of truth to observe Song Jiasen. Appearance, 95. Favorability, 60. Another great beauty. In addition, his favorability had reached 60. This Song Jae-sun seemed to have a good impression of him. However, he did not know her at all. Even though he was suspicious, Lin Fan still extended his hand and said, "Hello, have we met before? A few days ago, you drove a Lamborghini and easily overtook my Ferrari on the highway," Song Jae-sun said. When Lin Fan heard that, he suddenly remembered and said, "So, it's you." That day, after Lin Fan found out that his father, Lin Tao, was seriously ill, he wanted to return to Qing City in the shortest time possible. Thus, he drove at the fastest speed he could. On the way, he saw a Ferrari driving at high speed. However, Lin Fan did not pay attention to the driver of the Ferrari. Song Jae-sun said, "You remember. I rarely see someone of my age with such good skills. Could you add me on WeChat?" "Of course," Lin Fan said. Beep. With a light ring, the two successfully added each other as friends. "Alright, let's talk again when we're free," Song Jae-sun said. After speaking, Song Jae-sun turned around and left. At the side, Song Yi, Jing Jinbao, and Mai Zhong had their mouths in an O shape. They slowly closed their mouths. "Brother Fan, can you let me see Song Jae-sun's moments?" Jing Jinbao said in a daze. Song Yi looked up and shouted, "Heavens!" First, it was the beautiful twin girls who added Brother Fan on WeChat. Then, it was teacher Tian Tian who added Brother Fan on WeChat. Now, even the Ice Queen Song Jae-sun has added Brother Fan on WeChat. "Brother Fan, you're my brother." "Brother Fan, you're really too amazing," Mai Zhong said in a daze. Lin Fan only laughed in response to their lamentations. Female dormitory, room 502. The beautiful twin girls stared at Lin Fan's WeChat without blinking. After a long time, they opened the dialog box. They continued to type the message they had edited yesterday. Read, "Hey, are you asleep? Thank you for stopping the basketball and saving me. The moon is so round today. Did you see it? I didn't see you play basketball today. Will you play tomorrow? Blue, hi, are you asleep? Thank you for stopping the basketball and saving me. The moon is so round today. Did you see it? I didn't see you play basketball today. Will you play tomorrow?" Then, the two of them stretched out their slender fingers, wanting to click send. However, just as they were about to touch the screen, they stopped simultaneously and could not press it. For the next 2 days, Lin Fan was extremely relaxed and satisfied. The red packets he received at 12 o'clock every day were all cash. In addition to the cash he earned from walking, sleeping, and breathing, Lin Fan's funds had already reached 15 million. On this day, Lin Fan had just finished class and was walking back to his dormitory. Ring. The phone in his pocket vibrated slightly. Lin Fan casually looked at his phone. It was a WeChat message from Song Jae-sun. "Song Jae-sun, there's a car race tonight. Are you interested in joining us?" Lin Fan had nothing to do at night anyway. Then, he thought of the satisfying feeling of racing. Hence, he replied to the message. "All right." It was 9 o'clock in the evening. The night was as dark as ink. There was only a crescent moon hanging in the sky like a boat. Song Jae-sun sat in the front passenger seat of the Lamborghini and asked, "Your car doesn't seem to have undergone any modifications." "Yeah," Lin Fan nodded. "Then how did you go so fast a few days ago?" Song Jae-sun said. "Maybe because it has 700 horsepower?" Lin Fan said. Song Jae-sun choked. Of course, she knew that the Lamborghini had 700 horsepower, but without a modified tail, custom-made wheels, and engine adjustments, its speed would only be that. At this moment, at the foot of East Mountain Road, more than a dozen cool sports cars had gathered. Nearly 20 young and beautiful men and women were gathered together. They were all well-known rich second generations in Junbei. Boom! Finally, Lin Fan's Lamborghini stopped behind them. When some people saw Song Jiasun, they all greeted her. It's Sister Jiasun. Big Sister Jiasun, did you change your car? No, this is my friend, Lin Fan's, car. Song Jiasun shook her head. Lin Fan? Only then did the crowd start to size Lin Fan up. A man in an Armani shirt said, Sis Jiasun, he can't be your boyfriend, right? And 0v3lb1n was the first platform to present this chapter. We're classmates, Song Jiasun replied. Boom. Boom. At this moment, a beast-like roar came from the distance. Then, a black Lamborghini and a royal blue McLaren P1 drove past them together. Finally, they stopped firmly in front of everyone. It's Lu Yuhang and Sun Lugua. The two of them have been fighting for years, right? I didn't expect the smell of gunpowder to be so strong right as they showed up. After all, Lu Pharmaceuticals and Sun Pharmaceuticals have been fighting for decades. They can be considered enemies. The crowd whispered in disgust. Lin Fan's expression changed slightly. For the past few days, Lin Fan had been thinking of all sorts of ways to get his hands on the 100-year-old ginseng and the 100-year-old spirit branch. Lu Pharmaceuticals and Sun Pharmaceuticals were both well-known pharmaceutical companies in Jiang Province. There might be some hope in getting those things through them.
Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and see you in the next chapter.